Chapter 1441, 1441 The Worst God and Return, 1. 1441 The Worst God and Return, 1. You're not coming out, right? It doesn't matter. Then I'll force you out. Cat, do you sense it? Meow. The huge white tiger in platinum armor stood beside Shiyu, its gem king eye extremely dignified. It almost sensed it. This space worm was too sneaky. Shiyu didn't expect that after half a year, the other party actually didn't come out itself, but sent a bunch of clones. Moreover, after the clone was destroyed, there was still no movement at all, afraid that there would be strong enemies in the outside world. However, even if one thought 1,000 times, one would definitely make a mistake. This space worm was still too young. Shorty consumed the power of faith and activated the power of retribution. Those who were hostile to Shiyu and the others were instantly locked onto by Shorty like lights in the night. Amidst the dense hostility waves, Shorty quickly locked onto one of them. After so many clones were destroyed, no matter how stealthy this space worm was, it was impossible for it not to have any hostility. Meow. It looked at Shiyu, indicating that it had already found the main body of the space worm. However, Shorty blinked. Wasn't there a little too many people who were antagonistic to it? Why wasn't the space worm the only one? It's normal, Shiyu said. Your beast tamer is so outstanding and has charmed countless girls. The hostility produced by suitors of those girls is naturally huge. Besides, there's a bunch of messy foreign races. Brilliant. Shorty came to a realization. That made sense. If he was too outstanding, it was inevitable that others would be jealous of him. Shiyu chuckled. There was more trouble when people were popular. Who didn't have a dark side in their hearts? However, they were all small characters. At Shiyu's height, there was no need to argue with children. As long as it's not that ridiculous, don't worry. Let's deal with this little worm first, Shiyu said. The whole of the universe was a spatial tunnel that required special abilities to open. Not only could the user travel through the whole of the universe, but they could also live in it. At this moment, a monster with purple armor skin and the appearance of a standing worm was panting slightly. Its shell armor looked very hard. It had two human-like arms with sharp claws. The worm's purple eyes flickered. Then, it used endurance. It gave up on the idea of going out itself. The clone was defeated so easily, which meant that there was a strong enemy in the outside world. It was better to continue recuperating for a period of time. When it created a stronger clone, it would let the other party investigate. This was what the space worm thought. However, in the next moment, its soul and mind suddenly felt a sharp pain. The intense pain made the space worm involuntarily scream. An ear-piercing scream echoed in the whole of the universe. A moment later, the pain stopped. The space worm took a deep breath. In fact, it didn't suffer much damage. Compared to the damage, the sudden pain shocked it even more. The armored worm was shocked. Could it be that its location had been discovered? In the next moment, the armored worm suffered intense mental damage again, making it cry out. A strong anger rose in the heart of the armored worm. Who was it? Who exactly was it? Forget it. This method was unprecedented. It gave up on the idea of going out to handle the other party. It planned to endure it for a while and take a step back. It would be all right after a while. It didn't believe that the other party could repeatedly cause it damage. The armored worm forcefully sealed its perception and fell asleep, but just as it fell asleep, a violent pain woke it up. Its teeth swayed, and its stomach churned. It continued to close its eyes and try to sleep. Bang! Again. Just like that, it repeated dozens of times. The armored worm angrily searched for the source of the attack, its body constantly shuttling through the whole of the universe. I'll hit you every time you move. In the starry sky, in the eye of the universe, the armored Shorty was enhanced by the 9-colored divine light. It depleted the power of faith and constantly crossed a long distance to punish the space worm. Unfortunately, because the other party was very strong and hid too deeply, it wasn't this space that could cause lethal damage. Shorty felt the pinch. Its consumption just now was much greater than Buggy using the strengthened Dragon Star group to smash a bunch of worm clones to death. A moment later, the armored worm, which had endured the harassment of Shorty all the way, found the source of the attack and opened the ultimate cave. It floated out of the cave and looked at Shorty, Shiyu, and the others standing on the Eye of the Universe facility. "You guys have a death wish." A huge abyssal divine power aura spread, making the people on Blue Planet in some areas look up and see a purple river of stars. There was no blue sky. That was the vast aura of the abyssal divine power of the space worm. The entire Blue Planet seemed to be enveloped in dark clouds. Has the battle started? The descent of the Dragon Star group naturally attracted a lot of attention. Be it the gods who weren't attacked or not, they could immediately feel the tense atmosphere in the starry sky. Shiyu, the World Tree, immediately understood Shiyu's good intentions when it saw that Shiyu had lured the worm into the universe and didn't fight on Blue Planet. Chapter 1442, 1442 The Worst God and Return, 2. 1442 The Worst God and Return, 2. Was the World Tree afraid of lowering the Blue Planet's world level? None of you should come. On Blue Planet, when some divine-level experts wanted to fly to the starry sky to support Shiyu, like Divine Source Legendary, they heard Shiyu's telepathy spread through the sky. The space worm could evolve, grow, and treat injuries by devouring everything. Shiyu could take care of his team, but he might not necessarily be able to take care of others. If a bunch of people came, they might all become nutrients for the worms. This kid, Divine Source, guessed Shiyu's meaning and couldn't help but curse. When did he become a burden, and after becoming a god? Shiyu wanted to face the space worm alone. "Yo, you're finally here." Shiyu looked at the worm with a smile. "Master, the other party's divine power is very strong," Ling reminded. "But fortunately, it hasn't reached the level of a high-level god. It can be used to test the strength of the current team. If you defeat it, you can defeat the intermediate divine examiner of the god-sealing battle." At this moment, all the pets behind Shiyu appeared and stared at the space worm. "Die!" As Ling and Shiyu communicated, Shorty stimulated the other party again, making the space worm charge over in anger. It was extremely fast. Boom! In an instant, the cosmic eye was sliced into two by the other party's sharp claws and exploded in the universe. As for Shiyu and the others, who had just stood on the Eye of the Universe, they had already scattered and flown in the starry sky. Woo! Photons lingered on Eleven's body as it used the light to control its flight. It looked at the armored bug with strong battle intent. As cosmic life forms, the green dragon, vermilion bird, black tortoise, and white tiger, four holy beasts, naturally didn't need any other methods to fly freely in the starry sky. Among them, the vermilion bird was a clone, while Kai Tong's main body had already possessed Shiyu, turning Shiyu into a sword god in a black trench coat and holding a black sword with fire patterns. The other pets also displayed their abilities. Even the overlord of the earth, Little G, knew that it couldn't lose face at this time and flew with anti-gravity. It could be said that apart from Little Z, who was light, soft, and not suitable for fighting, Shiyu's entire group had joined the battlefield. Even Chi rushed over from Tingxiang to support Shiyu. What's that? On Blue Planet, in everyone's vision, the starry sky seemed to have exploded, spreading an extremely dazzling light. It was the armored bug attacking Shorty. It knew that the one who tortured it just now was this guy. At this moment, its first hunting target was Shorty. The armored worm's sharp claws that could tear apart stars slashed fiercely at Shorty. At this moment, a shadow northern guard appeared on Shorty's body. That was the support of Little Quass and Turtle, the strongest defense. Under the blockage of the Dark North shield, this attack didn't cause much damage to Shorty. It only tore its armor apart. However, the aftermath of the attack and the shield's collision still caused a violent energy explosion, blowing Shorty away and smashing it into the moon, creating a huge hole on the moon with a bang. The armored worm ignored the other pets and locked onto Shorty, flying towards the moon. Weak, It was too weak. The worm that was still a little worried before attacking no longer cared. It wanted to devour the other party. But just as it flew halfway, the white eye of the storm that appeared unexpectedly made the worm's pupils shrink. In an instant, a storm formed. The originally white eye of the storm began to be dyed in red, green, blue, gold, purple, various colors. Air, electricity, heat, light. A moving and chaotic starry sky energy storm swept up, looking very much like a surging sea, directly devouring the worm. Ah! In the storm, under the miserable cry of the worm, it seemed to have suffered damage stronger than the retribution white tiger. As the energy in the storm vibrated, a broken body pushed open the storm and walked out. Unfortunately. Seeing this, the mini battleship Ling in the starry sky felt a pity. The effect of the cosmic storm that used up nearly half its energy on the worm wasn't very satisfactory. Beside Ling, the corners of the other teammates' mouths twitched. It was a pity to beat an intermediate god into such a miserable state in one move. Ah! After struggling to break free from the storm, the worm suddenly looked at Ling and panicked. Strong, it was too strong. The worm, which had no consideration before attacking, was worried. The other party could hurt him. Forget it, why not leave? The wounds on its body healed, and it turned and flew away. Shiyu? Roar! However, when it flew away, under Buggy's roar, the surrounding origin domain activated. In an instant, the armored worm was covered in it, causing it to be stunned. It wanted to tear open its domain, but it realized that this small world was very strong and it very difficult to do. It wanted to open the whole of the universe and leave first, but it realized that it couldn't do it at all. This made the armored worm's heart skip a beat. It looked around and realized that it was already surrounded. Boom! The fusion Black Tortoise's Black Tortoise fist directly smashed towards the armored worm. The fist shadow of the serpent's roar raised waves of booms. Roar! Under the hot sun, Little G also swung a sun meteorite sword. Because it saw the miserable state of the cat being sent flying just now, it didn't dare attack directly and only release sword light from behind. Quack! Ducky, who had opened its mind, observed the abyssal power surging in the enemy's body and immediately reminded everyone to be careful. At the same time, it imitated Little G and threw out a Vajra demon subduing staff, not daring to approach. Chapter 1443, 1443 The Worst God and Return, 3. 1443 The Worst God and Return, 3. Seeing this, Chi simply attacked with the umbrella. The four of them attacked the armored worm from four directions. Sensing the threat, the space worm suddenly erupted with stronger divine power fluctuations. Purple abyss divine power flames spread in all directions. The strength of the space worm increased by another level under the explosive aura. This is too much. Under the eruption of the armored worm's roar, the entire creation domain was immediately infected with a layer of black and purple where the aura affected. Little G, Ducky, and the others' attacks were also instantly devoured and blown away by the divine power eruption. The creation domain that had been enhanced by the power of faith began to sway. Shiyu and the others had cold expressions. It was indeed a worm that had swallowed an abyssal life form. At this moment, the pets who had yet to attack were eager to try. Among the space worm race, there were three that they didn't devour. One was a planetary life form, one was a cosmic behemoth, and the other was a life race with powerful pollution power like the abyss race. It was very likely that devouring the abyss race wouldn't help it evolve by devouring their power, but by being anti-polluted. The survival rate of the worms devouring abyss races of the same level was less than 10%. As for the cosmic behemoth race, because their race was too strong and not suitable to devour, the survival rate of monsters one level lower than the cosmic behemoth race was less than 1%. Was this space worm lucky? Not only did it devour and digest the abyss race, but it also swallowed the flesh and blood of a higher level cosmic behemoth and didn't die. It even successfully mastered one of the other party's talent skills. Go, Shiyu waved his hand. Roar! At this moment, the first team also began to show its might. With a roar, a cosmic behemoth of 100,000 meters tall appeared in the creation domain. After Panda King 11 enlarged to its peak, black and white lightning lingered around its body. A palm that was enough to destroy the world lingered with destructive power and slapped the worm on the ground from top to bottom. Z. 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 Although the abyssal godly energy couldn't be obliterated, at least it didn't corrode 11's body. This palm carried endless power and directly pressed the worm that looked up at the black shadow underground. Boom! As the huge pit formed, Buggy felt the creation domain tremble with a bang and almost collapsed. Roar! Buggy was also shocked. Crowd control! Baby Ginseng curled its lips at the side. If it wanted to explode, it would definitely collapse. Unfortunately, Shiyu didn't allow it. Moreover, it couldn't explode. The God-Sealing battle was about to begin. Now that it had wasted the time mark, it didn't have time to condense it. Baby Ginseng understood that it was the healer in this battle. It sighed. 11's palm was world-shaking. YA! Unfortunately, this palm still couldn't punish the space worm. 11's huge palm, which was enough to destroy a country, began to slowly move from the huge pit with 11's eyes wide open. In the huge pit of destruction, a small worm figure directly propped up 11's huge palm and slowly floated into the sky. Boom! As soon as it released its strength, the reinforced iron bones in 11's palm seemed to have been interrupted. 11's entire body began to fall back under the huge force. During this process, 11 began to shrink and return to its normal state, flying in the sky. Roar! The worm shouted crazily, revealing a panicked expression. What were these guys doing? Why did it feel that they were even stronger than the Primera level god it had swallowed previously? With so many potent opponents, the worm panicked. You're so strong, can you not be so cowardly? The worm felt another attack. My two cat teachers aren't as cowardly as you. At this moment, Shiyu finally attacked. The Vermilion Bird clone let out a cry and turned into a black sword enchanted with the world destruction Vermilion Bird's flames, activating the fire patterns on it. A white armor automatically appeared on Shiyu's body. Shorty returned to the team and flew into the creation domain to strengthen Shiyu. There was also a mysterious dark shield mark on the armor. In addition to Buggy's creation domain, Buggy had transferred the authority of the world to Shiyu. At this moment, Shiyu's attack was enough to reach the divine level. Profundity Sword Skill, Holy Beast Slash. The sword that had fused the power of the Green Dragon, White Tiger, Vermilion Bird, and Black Tortoise made Shiyu's body flicker with light, turning into a meteor that pierced towards the worm. Sensing the terrifying power on Shiyu's body, the worm panicked even more. Its stare kept flickering. Don't come over. YA! Under the worm's roar, the spreading divine power compressed into its sharp claws and waved a light that was like the flowing of a galaxy. Boom! With the light, Shiyu's sword slash dissipated the other party's unique skill and collided with the worm's main body. When the beautiful halo lingered into a storm, with a crack, the creation domain shattered under the huge impact. After the destruction of the small world, the two figures flew backward together and floated in the starry sky. Shiyu panted, and the worm also panted. Purple blood flowed down the gaps of its armor. As for Shiyu's body, apart from injuries of various sizes, the power of the abyss also infected him, making Shiyu slightly serious. This guy? Susu, cleanse! Everyone, assault together, except Susu. Under Shiyu's call, the abyss corrosion on his body was immediately cleansed. At the same time, a combination ability of the creation domain and the Taiji domain was born. The black and white world restarted, making the worm's expression change again as it felt the suppression. With a roar, it entered the Taiji world. 11's pupils revealed a violent gaze, and its battle power increased greatly. It directly entered the divine demon thought state. Before the worm could react, a thunder palm cracked its armor, causing it to fly backward with a puff. It spat out blood crazily and endured serious injuries. Chapter 1444, 1444 The Worst God and Return, 4. 1444 The Worst God and Return, 4. Year, Jupiter. During the process of the worm flying backward, although baby ginseng couldn't use self-destruction, it still had other attack methods. It pointed at the abyss worm flying backward. Under the nourishment of the light that filled the sky, a huge wood element star condensed and wrapped around the worm. Then, boom! Jupiter seemed to have been ignited as it emitted a huge flame, devouring the worm that 11 sent flying again. Boom! The aftermath was endless, and the starry sky was incomparably dazzling and beautiful. On Blue Planet, the gods who had indeed sensed the fluctuations of the starry sky battle felt their hearts skip a beat. They didn't even dare to breathe loudly, as if the end of the world would come at any time. Shiyu, the World Tree clone, which was the only one who flew out of Blue Planet to pay attention to the battle, saw the space worm being suppressed by Shiyu and the others and felt that it was unbelievable. An intermediate god being suppressed by a group of demigods was also unimaginable in the mythical war. However, this armored worm was much more tenacious than he imagined. In the light, its entire body turned into a black and purple vortex that kept devouring the aftermath of Jupiter's explosion and slowly walked out of the explosion. Seeing this, baby ginseng was stunned. Beside it, Buggy told baby ginseng not to cause trouble and just wait to be a healer after the battle. Baby ginseng? How did I antagonize you? After the worm came out this time, it couldn't help but say. Shiyu and the others were stunned. They didn't expect the worm to ask this. What do you think? Didn't you consume life on Blue Planet? The worm cried out crazily. It just wanted to eat its fill. What was wrong with that? Didn't they eat meat too? It felt that it had been wronged. It's true that you want to fill your stomach, but this is a matter of position. If we allow you to do as you wish, the ecology of Blue Planet will be destroyed by you. If you mess around like this, how can I freeload on Blue Planet's world power in the future? Moreover, you'll devour someone I know sooner or later. If you want to eat your fill on other planets, I can't be bothered with you. Shiyu smiled kindly. Tell me, do you merit to die? The worm delayed Shiyu for half a year, yet it still dared feel wronged? World Tree, worm? Baby ginseng. Shiyu said, finish it. The space worm was shocked. Everyone's attack continued. Buggy touched the back of the space worm and directly took out the intrinsic Dragon Ball that had been refined for a long time. Meow. Buggy gave the short cat a secret signal. The short cat immediately stunned the worm through the Retribution White Tiger. Right on the heels of that, Buggy directly smashed the Dragon Ball at the worm with a bang. Phut! The worm felt its body being flattened and it fell towards a certain asteroid. Seeing that Buggy's Dragon Ball was so fierce, Chi looked at the star umbrella that had just been blown apart and her heart twitched. Profundity sword skill, Vermilion bird chant. When Shiyu saw the worm smashing towards him, divine power lingered in his red eyes. The sword aura in the form of the holy beast Vermilion bird lingered on his body, instantly turning into a fiery red light that waved and slashed at the worm. Boom 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 boom. Shiyu passed through like a Vermilion bird phantom. Explosions occurred consecutively on the worm's body, and world destruction flame lingered around its body. This. The battle was very intense. As the river of stars trembled, the World Tree was stunned. It actually had the illusion that the worm that was 2 levels higher than Shiyu and the others was very miserable. In the fire body, the armored worm roared. Its body turned into the devour space again and absorbed the fire. Stop! Stop! To be honest, the space worm no longer wanted to fight. Its heart was in a mess, and it felt that its consumption was increasing. If this continued, everything it had eaten previously would be for nothing. If this continued, the outcome was hard to say. It's still all right? Of course, apart from the worm being frightened, the World Tree clone was also rather nervous. Seeing that although Shiyu could suppress the worm, he couldn't take it down for a long time and his skills were frequently devoured, it was very worried that something would happen. If the other party swallowed and evolved, it would be bad. Shiyu, let me help you, the World Tree clone said. Although consuming the power of the world in a battle would cause Blue Planet's level to decrease again, the most important thing was to solve the hidden danger. There's no need. Don't waste the upgrade resources. Senior Space Emperor and the others will cry. Shiyu floated in the starry sky and said, we can settle this guy. Forget it, I won't fight anymore, Shiyu said. As long as I know the difference. Shiyu didn't want to fight anymore. He had already replicated the two most important skills, so he said, Susu, deal with it. The World Tree clone was shocked and looked at the starry sky slime that revealed a bitter expression. This guy was the blue sea sprite. Although its appearance had changed, its form hadn't changed. The World Tree clone could recognize it. At this moment, the World Tree clone suddenly discovered a blind spot. Just now, the blue sea sprite had only been assisting in purging and didn't directly attack this abyss worm. Logically speaking, the effect of the sea cleansing spirit's attack on the abyss worm shouldn't be inferior to the various unique skills released by Shiyu previously. Why? Why? At this moment, seeing the little life form that had been hiding behind to cleanse its abyssal power appear, the abyss worm revealed an hostile expression. After fighting for a long time, it really wanted to consume some nutritious food first. This water element life form wasn't bad. However, suddenly, the sneaky feeling in its heart made it sense a trace of danger. It gave up on the thought of fighting. The moment the battle calmed down, it turned and flew away, wanting to leave the troubled place of Blue Planet. Chapter 1445 The Worst God and Return, 5. 1445 The Worst God and Return, 5. Nink. However, it was already too late. As Susu decided to attack, it activated the reincarnation fruit in the infinite devour space and temporarily advanced to the divine level. Its stare wavered with a cleansing light, and a wave that swept through the starry sky instantly swallowed the entire territory. Star Sea Contract, Origin Wave. It believed that all the power on this abyss creature was impurities. It should be cleansed. Buzz. The starry sky fluctuation swept past, and the body of the armored worm that flew away suddenly froze on the spot. With a terrified expression, it felt that the power on its body was slowly disappearing and slowly returning to zero. In an instant, it even lost the ability to float and fly in the universe. Its level quickly fell from intermediate god to primary god, then to demigod, overlord, monarch, commander, transcendent, awakening, and even mortal body. 11. Buggy, Baby Ginseng, Kai Tong, and the others widened their eyes and looked at Susu, who had displayed its divine might. They felt that it was extremely ridiculous, extremely ridiculous. Was this the lethality of cleansing star spirits to the abyss race? Although they had already exhausted more than 60% of the worm's stamina, Susu was still too terrifying. At this moment, seeing this scene, the World Tree clone beside him was also suddenly stunned. It looked at the space worm floating helplessly in the universe like trash in shock and felt that it was unbelievable. It looked at Susu in shock and at the blue sea sprite that had turned from blue jelly to 7-colored jelly. It didn't understand what exactly was going on with it just now and what skill it had used. If you could tolerate it a little more and hide in the hole of the universe without coming out, I really wouldn't be able to do anything to you. Your cultivation isn't good enough. Shiyu happily pulled the struggling space worm and walked in front of the World Tree clone. Mission completed. You completed it just like that? The World Tree clone was stunned. Didn't they agree that the Space Emperor and the others would give a bunch of equipment to assist in battle? Why didn't Shiyu use it? It was clearly still fighting just now, so why did the blue sea sprite instantly kill its opponent with a glance? The World Tree clone couldn't understand the scene just now. This was a method that was associated with the first place in the universe, the Abyss race. It won't be that easy if it's someone who doesn't have the power of the Abyss, Shiyu said. Fortunately, there should still be time. There's still a period of time until the God-sealing battle. Lord World Tree, I'll pack up and prepare to leave. There shouldn't be anything else here, right? I submit. I submit. Don't kill me. I was wrong. I'm not eating anymore, I'm not eating anymore, all right? The armored worm kept struggling in Shiyu's hand. But now, its mortal body was completely controlled by Shiyu. Shiyu couldn't help but look at this coward. His will level was low. This was the guy who made the blue planet gods nervous. Was his talent too good? He had grown to this extent without suffering much? In fact, Shiyu also discovered that the pets of the divine level races beside humans on World King Planet generally didn't have high will levels, inferior to those on Blue Planet. This might be a pet with strong willpower? By the way, I don't plan to kill this guy. The worm was delighted. Shiyu looked at the space worm and said, this guy's talent isn't bad. I'll send it to reincarnate later and let it start over on Blue Planet. When the time comes, guide it well. It might be able to become the guardian of Blue Planet in the future. The armored worm was shocked and struggled with all its might. Wait, it didn't want to reincarnate. No. No. All right. The World Tree clone nodded. Then, it recalled something and connected the divine level lives on the entire Blue Planet through telepathy. At this moment, on Blue Planet, in the 7 countries and the Totem Country, in the divine mystic realms, every divine level listened to the World Tree's voice solemnly. I'm the World Tree. The previous divine level invader has already been dealt with by Shiyu. By the way, shouldn't I collect some protection fee? There were other voices mixed in the World Tree's voice. There was also a heart-wrenching scream. The scream sounded as soon as the World Tree finished speaking. The divine level experts were rather moved. For example, the corners of ancient god Golden Bull's mouth twitched crazily. He felt that challenging Shiyu previously was a stupid cow's behavior. What a joke! That Shiyu really did it. He dealt with an intermediate god. Moreover, from the sound of it, it was captured alive? Had an hour even passed during this period? In the Origin Land, the Genesis Tree God and the other new gods who had some conflict with Shiyu's expression stiffened. They felt that it was getting more and more ridiculous. The Genesis Tree God looked at its spatial warehouse and closed its eyes tightly, feeling the pinch. Shiyu was giving it a warning, right? It had to be. Name Infinite Devour. Level, Divine. Introduction, it's a special skill. It can open up the Devour space and rely on devouring to digest everything to increase the race level and growth level, completing endless evolution and growth. Name Whole of the Universe. Level, Quasi-Divine Level. Introduction, it can open the whole of the universe to perform a spatial jump. In the battle with the space worm, Shiyu had only replicated 2 skills. Firstly, it looked like a high-level skill, Infinite Devour. Susu's Infinite Devour level had been stuck at the Transcendental level for a long time. During this period, it had engulfed many divine level resources and even super divine level resources, but it didn't increase its level. This time, he finally replicated the divine level Devour skill. Chapter 1446 The Worst God and Return, 6. 1446 The Worst God and Return, 6. This was the foundation of the power of the space worm. As for the second one, Shiyu replicated the other party's Whole of the Universe skill. Although this space worm had inherited the cosmic behemoth's Whole of the Universe, it was obvious that it had yet to be trained to the level of a divine skill. Therefore, the one Shiyu replicated was also a quasi-divine skill. Fortunately, the other party's training level wasn't high. Otherwise, it probably wouldn't be so easy for Buggy to use the creation domain to isolate the other party from opening the Whole of the Universe. However, it was a pity that be it the Infinite Devour or the Whole of the Universe, Shiyu's group of pets didn't have much compatibility. The former was because its level was too high and it couldn't be taught. The latter, as the exclusive skill of the cosmic behemoth race, was also quite difficult to learn. There was really no compatibility. Therefore, after the battle, Shiyu scratched his head. He felt that apart from obtaining a pile of support equipment from the Space Emperor and Lin Feng, he had gained nothing. He didn't know when he could use these skills. Umbrella, my umbrella, woo woo woo. As Shiyu concluded his gains, the other pets were also chatting about the battle just now. Chi held the broken star umbrella and felt a little aggrieved. The umbrella had first been lowered by Buggy and Baby Ginseng before it was refined, and now it was beaten up by the space worm. It was so sad. We can just repair it again, Shiyu comforted Chi. It's mainly because your umbrella doesn't look as hard as a Dragon Ball or anything. Why don't you change it to a mace? The mace loli is pretty impressive. No. Yeah, Baby Ginseng said. The space worm wasn't killed by Susu, but sent to reincarnate by its reincarnation fruit. Therefore, shouldn't the divine level first clear belong to Baby Ginseng? Gee! Buggy wanted Baby Ginseng to have some shame. The one it sent away wasn't even at the transcendent level. HMPH Baby Ginseng expressed that it didn't care anymore. Baby Ginseng, you've done very well. At least you can last for so long without self-destructing. Shiyu smiled and said, during the God-sealing battle, you can explode to your heart's content. No one will stop you. Baby Ginseng was filled with fighting spirit. It wanted to fight that cosmic crow survey. After dealing with the space worm, it was time for Shiyu to leave Blue Planet. Afraid of wasting time, Shiyu, who was in a hurry to return, informed President Lin and the others before rushing back to World King Planet. In any case, if it went smoothly, everyone would see each other soon. The Gem Cat still had to pack up, so Shiyu didn't wait for her. World King Planet. Floating Realm, Sky City. At this moment, this place was extraordinarily lively, because the annual God-sealing battle was about to begin. At the moment, the geniuses and second-generation heirs of the floating planet and the floating realm had all come to Sky City, planning to use the teleportation facilities of Sky City to go to the nearby first-level realm to participate and register. Generally speaking, the people of the floating realm went to the Dongshen realm and the heavenly demon realm beside them to register. After all, this place and the floating realm were in a realm alliance. The Dongshen realm was controlled by the three races, the Dragon, Phoenix, and Kirin, while the heavenly demon realm was controlled by the angels and demons. Of course, because the God-sealing battle was held very frequently, many people didn't go to the same place every year and used the God-sealing battle to travel to other worlds, such as the Blue Wave world and even the Central world. It was also common, but the further away they were, the more rich they needed. At this moment, in a venue in Sky City, the young geniuses were gathered and listening to Lord Lin Feng's passionate speech. In order to encourage the geniuses of the floating realm, before the annual God-sealing battle, Lin Feng and the Space Emperor would choose one person to mobilize these geniuses, hoping that they could achieve better results. This year, it was Lin Feng's turn. Hello, Sister Zilan, isn't Shiyu back yet? The Phoenix man sat beside Zilan and asked, looks like he doesn't intend to participate in this year's God-sealing battle. With his strength, even if he participates this year, I think he can achieve pretty good results. He had also learned from Zilan that Shiyu had gone to Blue Planet to deal with an intermediate god. However, like Zilan, although he felt that Shiyu's strength wasn't weak, wasn't it too strange for a level 9 beast tamer to deal with an intermediate god? Intermediate gods were considered famous experts in the floating realm. I don't know either. If that intermediate god is the same as in the prophecy, it should appear recently, but whether Shiyu can kill it, and whether he can return in a complete state. I can't determine, Zilan said. In the past half a year, she had also been instructed by the Space Emperor to travel to Blue Planet to exchange information. Sky City also knew that the worms were hiding and might not appear for half a year. That's all I have to say. I hope your ranking this year can improve from last year. Lin Feng stood in front and smiled at the more than 100 genius beast tamers of the floating realm and their contracted pets below. Grandpa! At this moment, among the geniuses, a young man stood up and said, are we the only ones representing the floating realm this year? Isn't Shiyu from Blue Planet participating? He's also very strong, right? After Lin Feng's grandson, Lin Rui, finished speaking, many geniuses present discussed softly. The genius of the Lu family, Lu Ran, and the daughter of the Space Emperor, Wang Qingqing, these second-generation heirs who had once been beaten up by Shiyu in the Sky Arena were all attracted by Lin Rui's question. Yes, why didn't Shiyu, who had appeared for a while in Sky City, appear for so long? Would he participate? These young geniuses had no idea that Shiyu had gone to the Blue Wave world. Their memories of Shiyu still lingered on Shiyu using the dragon that had inherited the power of the ancestral dragon to sweep through the geniuses in the Sky Arena. Shiyu, Lin Feng had a slight headache. He was dispatched to the mother planet by me and the Realm Master to carry out a special quest. I'm not sure if he can rush back. Who? Just as Lin Feng finished speaking, he suddenly looked outside the venue and said in surprise, "What a coincidence! He's back! This way, your team still has to add another person. If nothing goes wrong, he will also participate in the God-Sealing battle with you. Alright, the meeting is over. I wish everyone good results. It's still the same rules as in the past years. I'll deduce the evolution path for you." After Lin Feng finished speaking, the other geniuses were all right, but Zilan and the Phoenix Man, the two geniuses who were ambassadors of Blue Planet and World King Planet, looked at each other with slightly changed expressions. Shiyu was back? Don't tell them. Shiyu really killed that intermediate god. This? If he really did it, wouldn't such a guy participate in the God-Sealing battle, be killing indiscriminately? Sky City, on the temple. When Shiyu returned, Lin Feng and the Space Emperor were the first to know. They put down what they were doing and came to the temple to wait for Shiyu. Fortunately, I didn't disappoint. Just as Shiyu landed, he smiled and said to Lin Feng and the Space Emperor. Upon hearing that, Lin Feng and the Space Emperor also had happy expressions. The Space Emperor laughed and said, "Well done." Moreover, the time happened to be in time for the God-Sealing battle. With you this time, the floating realm is stable. Yeah, you brat, you have to let our senior Space Emperor hold his head high for once. Among the three major realms of the Blue Planet lineage, the floating realm has the worst results in the past years, Lin Feng said with a chuckle. I will, Shiyu said. By the way, Senior Space Emperor, Senior Lin Feng, I plan to let every companion enroll for the competition alone. It shouldn't be a problem, right? They've always wanted to see their limits alone. I want to satisfy them. If I'm lucky, I might be able to get more placements for our floating realm. Emperor Kong and Lin Feng? Who? What did this kid say? Your King arrogant, Lin Feng couldn't help but say, but then he was amused. His expression was very arrogant. However, I like it. Ha 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 ha. At the side, the Space Emperor's face darkened. Could the two of you save him some trouble? The Space Emperor didn't understand why his subsequent Dong Huang Legendaries were so unstable. However, the Space Emperor displayed a faint smile. Forget it, Shiyu could do whatever he wanted. He was still young anyway. In this year's God-Sealing battle, the various realms were going to be stunned. He, World King Wang, could finally rise up in front of that group of World King friends. As a new realm, the floating realm's basis was still weak. It was normal for the juniors to not be able to compare to those old realms, but this year, an even more terrifying one came to their floating realm. Chapter 1447 Beginning of the God-Sealing Battle 1 1447 Beginning of the God-Sealing Battle 1 There's still half a month until the God-Sealing battle. During this period, you can prepare well. If you have any needs, you can tell me and Lin Feng, the Space Emperor said. Lin Feng looked at Shiyu and said, by the way, which realm do you plan to register for the competition? Central Realm, Shiyu said. I've never been there. I want to go to a big place to take a look. Moreover, isn't the additional challenge after obtaining first place in the God-Sealing battle that you can't fight online and have to go to the Central Realm to do it? Let's go over there directly to save ourselves the trouble. Emperor Kong and Lin Feng were silent. Look, was this human language? Even if 2 to 9 people worked together in the God-Sealing battle, they wouldn't be as arrogant as this kid. If you can't get first place, after this God-sealing battle ends, I'll personally give you a hell special training. The Space Emperor made a decision. It was mainly because Shiyu's words were too arrogant and he couldn't stand it. He. Shiyu smiled and said, I'll work hard. After returning to the World King planet, there was still half a month until the God-sealing battle began. In other words, Shiyu could still prepare for battle for about 10 days. It was just 10 days. Shiyu originally wanted to spend it quietly, but Zilan, Phoenix Man, and the others immediately came looking for him after Shiyu returned. Shiyu, you really succeeded in killing that intermediate god? The two of them ran over in disbelief to verify this question. They wanted to know very much. You definitely won't believe me if I say it. Shiyu saw the two's curious gazes and grinned. But that's indeed the case. The two of them opened their mouths wide, not very understanding. Shiyu said, what's with the suspense? I'll also participate in the God-sealing battle. You'll know after the God-sealing battle. I just returned from the battle. Let me rest first. All right. We'll definitely watch your every battle live broadcast, the Phoenix Man said through gritted teeth. He didn't believe that there was really someone who could walk out of a remote place in less than a year and become the strongest demigod in the entire universe. Which realm are you going to participate in? Zilan asked. Do you want to go to the Central Realm together? Shiyu asked. Zilan was stunned, then said, forget it. We have to go to the Dongxian realm. We have to go to the family of the contracted target. A moment later, Shiyu sent the two of them away and heaved a sigh of relief. Sigh, he had already imagined how the various associations his pet had joined would annoy him if he really got first place in the God-sealing battle. Shiyu then paid attention to his pets and planned to mobilize them before the competition. In the past half a year, the one who had improved the most was definitely Chi. From nothing to having battle power was a huge improvement. However, Chi definitely wouldn't participate in the God-sealing battle. A tilde in the room, when Shiyu called his pets out to mobilize, Chi's heart itched. She had obtained battle power, but she couldn't fight. It was so annoying to participate in the team internal competition. It's just the God-sealing battle. There's nothing to participate in. It's just a baby game, Shiyu said. When you transmigrate us to the ancient universe to take risks one day, we'll engage in combat to our heart's content. Well, that's true, Chi thought and said, I'm actually more inquisitive now. Who's the sixth cosmic life form? If there's a chance, I have to return and take a look. The corners of Shiyu's mouth twitched. There's no hurry. Let's deal with the super divine level first. The cosmic level isn't that fast. 11, Buggy, and the other pets nodded repeatedly in the room. Chi wasn't very bold. After being led onto the archaeological path by Shiyu, she was quite curious. Just like on Blue Planet, there were many historical gaps. In the universe, there were even more historical gaps. Not to mention the last era, just this era had lost or erased a lot of history. One of them was that there were rumors that a total of 6 cosmic-level experts had been born in this era since ancient times. Apart from the current 5 cosmic-level experts, there was still one more. However, the data of this cosmic life form seemed to have been erased. There were no records at all. It was normal for Chi to be inquisitive about it. Shiyu was also curious. However, being curious about a cosmic life form wasn't something they could afford to do at their current level. My lord, my lord. At this moment, Turtle and Little Qua suddenly walked over. We've thought about it. We're going to join in the form of a fusion this time. Have you thought about it? Sure. Shiyu looked at the fusion black tortoise. At this moment, the appearance of the fusion black tortoise changed drastically. In this half a year, Turtle and Little Quas finished their evolution again. It wasn't through any special evolution method, but relying on the totem stage to optimize its racial abilities. In the past, Turtle was only the longevity turtle, and Little Quas was only the winter water snake. Now, their normal state before they fused had also evolved into different appearances and evolved into a divine-level race. Turtle had evolved to become stronger. Its current body was very suitable for combat, so it called itself Battle Turtle. A black tortoise shell, a white abdomen, a fierce face, strong muscles, and a standing figure. When it waved its fist, it looked like a battle turtle. In the words of the turtle prime minister, who couldn't engage in combat and couldn't conquer the country for his lord, wasn't a good prime minister. As for Little Quaas, it had newly evolved into 2 heads and evolved into a 3-headed snake. The reason why it evolved like this was because they realized that the stronger its mental strength, the stronger the power of faith it could trigger. Therefore, Little Quaas optimized itself in the direction of enhancing its mental strength. Therefore, after Turtle and Little Quaas fused, they looked like a standing battle turtle. Above, on the left, and on the right, a white sea snake appeared. They were very fierce. Chapter 1448 Beginning of the God-Sealing Battle, 2. 1448 Beginning of the God-Sealing Battle, 2. It gave Shiyu the feeling that it was a mega water arrow turtle. The cannon barrel had been changed to a sea snake. In that case, our ranking will be higher. With our strength, it might be difficult for us to enter the top 50, Little Quaas 3 heads said together, and there was an echo. In fact, it was mainly because the 2 of them were afraid that they would be at the bottom if they participated in the battle alone. If they participated in the battle together now, no matter how lousy they were, they wouldn't be weaker than Shorty. Achoo! The short-legged white tiger playing with the furball sensed malice. Shiyu said in amusement, the top 50 is already a very terrifying result. However, it shouldn't be a problem to participate as a fused body. Your fusion state should be able to be seen as an individual. By the way, if those 4 Saints Evolvers in the 4 Saints ruins knew that you guys changed so quickly, I wonder if they would cry. When Buggy and the others were guardians of the 4 holy ruins, because they displayed too much strength, they inevitably encountered follow-ups. In that month, Shiyu had already seen no less than 100 Saints Evolvers evolving their images towards the forms of Buggy, Kai Tong, Turtle Little Quaas, and Shorty, making Shiyu extremely speechless. During that period, no less than 10 turtle snake black tortoises appeared. This was just like plastic surgery on Earth. They all went for an attractive template. Perhaps this could indeed increase the confidence of some of the 4 Saints Evolvers and increase their control over the power of faith. Come. Let's discuss your registration names next. Forget about 11, Kai Tong, and Ling. Buggy, isn't it a little unsuitable for you to straightforwardly use Buggy to register for the God-Sealing Battle? When the time comes, it'll be a little embarrassing to announce your name as the top 10 winner of the God-Sealing Battle. Turtle, Little Quaas, you have to have a new moniker in your fusion state, right? After Shiyu finished speaking, the pets revealed speechless expressions. So their beast tamer still knew that the moniker he gave them was a little embarrassing. Buggy cried. Shorty also cried. Although it liked Shiyu to call it Shorty, it was indeed ridiculous to use this moniker to compete. It didn't want to be called Contestant Shorty. Only Baby Ginseng heaved a sigh of relief. Fortunately, it had long given itself a new name. Now, everyone in the Plant Association knew its well-known name, the Ginseng Emperor. This was called intelligence. Ling, sure, I wonder if 10 days is enough to think of a name. After a while. On the floating realm side, Vice Realm Master Lin Feng personally brought Shiyu to the central realm and acted as a bodyguard. Lin Feng's direct descendants didn't even enjoy this treatment. In the central realm, it could be seen as the center capital of the World King planet. Many official institution headquarters that crossed hundreds of realms were located here. Although the God-Sealing Battle could be registered in the various first-level realms and then entered the second world to fight through the teleportation array, which was similar to the ranking fight of all races, there was no doubt that the number of contestants gathered in the central realm every year was the most. This was a pursuit. We're finally here. Lin Feng and Shiyu had finally arrived at the largest teleportation point on World King planet. At this time, there was an endless stream of tourists coming to the central realm. The entire teleportation point was filled with people. Shiyu and Lin Feng were completely inconspicuous. "Hey, Shiyu." Lin Feng poked Shiyu and said, "Look at that." He pointed at a sexy beauty with ice blue skin. "Oh?" Shiyu was still looking for the exit when he heard Senior Lin Feng call him. He immediately looked over. "What?" "It's the Frost Star people, the planet that produces attractive women. They're incredibly beautiful." "Look," Lin Feng said. "Damn it, she left." "Did you see her?" Shiyu's face darkened. F*CK, he thought that the other party wanted him to see something important. "Senior Lin Feng, you already have many descendants. Can you calm down?" Lin Feng chuckled and said, "I just admire different beauties. Shiyu, you brat, I already had several wives at your age." "What about you?" "Shiyu? I just devoted all my energy to cultivation, so I'm stronger than you, Senior Lin Feng, than when you were at the same age." "Lin Feng? Kid, are you itching for a beating? If you can't get first place in the God Sealing battle, Senior Space Emperor, and I will give you special training in hell for a year." Shiyu said, "There's such a good thing? I even want to deliberately go easy on you guys and let you give me special training." Lin Feng's face darkened. He, who often caused others to choke on their words, finally experienced the sensation of being choked. At the same time, some passers-by saw Shiyu and Lin Feng discussing the first place in the God Sealing battle. They shook their heads and walked over with doubtful expressions. Where did this country bumpkin come from? How could the first place in the God Sealing battle be so easy to get? Lin Feng and Shiyu. Next, Shiyu and Lin Feng separated. Lin Feng went to find a place to stay, while Shiyu found a place to register first. Now, there were more than hundreds of registration points for the God Sealing battle in the Central Realm, so there was basically no long line. In the registration hall of a certain God Sealing battle, a staff member with an outstanding aura looked at the strange long line that suddenly entered and fell into deep thought. It was a young man in a panda casual suit and a panda. Behind it was a green silkworm. After that was a sword maiden in a black dress. Baby Ginseng in a research suit. Starry Sky Slime mini battleship, dragon and a blind duck. Chapter 1449 Beginning of the God Sealing Battle, 3. 1449 Beginning of the God Sealing Battle, 3. Everyone, are you together? The staff looked at the long line and asked Shiyu, who was at the front. No, I don't know them, Shiyu said. Ah, all right, the staff said. A moment later, Shiyu and the others left. They each took their contestant cards and left the staff in confusion. Bullsh*T. They were all from the floating realm and even entered together. How could they not know each other? The staff would never have thought that this pile of strange creatures that had signed up separately was all one person's contracted pet. At most, he thought that they knew each other. After all, in the floating realm, it was rare for a level 9 beast tamer to contract multiple pets, let alone 10. This was actually a bug. Every life individual could register independently, but if this life individual had a contracted target, the contracted target was also included in this individual. And if this contracted target was a human beast tamer, and this human beast tamer had other contracted pets, it would still be considered an individual. Everything only recognized the contract connection. Shiyu wasn't the first to play like this, but none of the contestants who played like this had obtained good results. There were very few in the top 100. After all, on the World King planet, there had never been anyone who could contract multiple pets and train multiple pets to the top of the God Sealing battle. This might also be the reason why the officials of the God Sealing battle had never paid much attention to this bug. Shiyu didn't know if the officials of the God Sealing battle would repair this loophole if his pet could really occupy the top rankings this time. After registering, Shiyu retracted his pets and sat in the teleportation array to find Senior Lin Feng according to the coordinates sent by Senior Lin Feng. In fact, it wasn't a big problem for Shiyu, Lin Feng, and the others to find a random wilderness and stay in the ruined space. However, this would be too miserable. It was no different from camping. It was rare for him to come to the Central Realm, so he naturally had to stay in a luxurious place that included 3 meals. At this time, there was a luxurious Mystic Realm residential area specially prepared for the contestants of the God-Sealing Battle. Divine chefs used various divine-level ingredients to cook 3 meals a day. It was a nutritional meal specially prepared for the contestants of the God-Sealing Battle. With Shiyu participating, as a senior, Lin Feng naturally couldn't let Shiyu suffer. Shiyu, come quickly. When Shiyu arrived at the Mystic Realm residential area, he saw Lin Feng standing outside the villa, chatting with a bearded middle-aged man in sunglasses and a cigarette in his mouth. Next to the other party was a cool girl in sunglasses. Old Lin, so here's the junior you brought to participate? The smoking man looked at Shiyu and said, he doesn't look very old. Don't tell me he's your illegitimate son. You don't even value your descendants so much, right? You even brought him up personally. Lin Feng was amused. If I could have such an outstanding, illegitimate son, I would die of joy. Shiyu, this guy is an old friend of Wang Kong and me in the Void battlefield. We've possessed a life-and-death relationship. Just call him Old Sunday. This is his daughter, also here to participate in the God-Sealing Battle. You're about the same age, you can get to know each other. Senior Sunday. Shiyu understood. Lin Feng possessed encountered someone he knew. The world was very big, but it was very small. Ha ha, hello, Senior Sun said. This is the first time I've seen Lin Feng value a junior so much. I'm waiting to see your performance. Your name is Shiyu, right? Shiyu smiled and said, yes. Lin, let's have a meal together? Senior Sun invited. We haven't seen each other for so many years. At least let's drink until we're drunk. All right, Lin Feng said. Shiyu, let's go together. Shiyu was helpless. Forget it, so be it. He was also hungry. He wanted to see how delicious the delicacies made by the chef of the Central Realm were. He was tired of eating baby ginseng's fruits. Meat! 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 At the dining table, Lin Feng and Senior Sun drank happily. Shiyu didn't drink and ate meat silently at the side. Why aren't the two of you talking? Senior Sun and Lin Feng, who were chatting, couldn't help but ask when they observed that the two juniors didn't communicate the whole time. Qiujing, communicate with your peers, Senior Sun said. What's there to talk about? Sun Qiujing said silently. She looked at Shiyu and felt that there was nothing to communicate about. Shiyu took another bite of meat. He didn't expect her to be an introverted girl. She had to broaden her horizons. Look at you. You cultivate all day and don't even know how to chat anymore? Senior Sun smiled and said, you both have to participate in this God-Sealing Battle. You can talk about this. Sun Qiujing gazed at Shiyu and nodded. Do you want to compete? Cough. Shiyu almost choked. Did she know how to chat? Senior Sun also gazed awkward, but beside him, Lin Feng was interested and said, Old Wang, this is your daughter's first time participating. Yeah, but she's very strong. She was only released after she received sufficient training from her mother. I think it shouldn't be a problem to fight for the top 10,000, Senior Sun said confidently. Do you want to compete? Lin Feng asked. Let's see who has a higher ranking between her and Shiyu. Let's bet on something. The corners of Senior Sun's mouth twitched. What are you thinking about taking from me? Cough, with the super divine resource you obtained on the battlefield, you shouldn't have used it yet, right? Lin Feng said. Senior Sun said, get lost. If I lose, I'll give up my life to help you deduce an evolution path of a top-notch god race. I'll pay all the evolution materials. You specify the target. Chapter 1450 Beginning of the God-Sealing Battle, 4. 1450 Beginning of the God-Sealing Battle, 4. Senior Sun suddenly fell silent and said, really? He was suddenly tempted. He knew Lin Feng's ability. Although that super divine resource was precious, he couldn't use it. On the contrary, Lin Feng's evolution deduction was very useful to his daughter. Just now, he was actually very humble. Not to mention the top 10,000, even if it was the top 1,000, his daughter could easily reach the top 100. Perhaps Lin Feng didn't know what contracted divine beast he had found for his daughter. Yeah. Lin Feng nodded. Well, when Shi Yu saw that Lin Feng was betting on him, the corners of his mouth couldn't help but twitch. If there was no share, he wouldn't do it. What super divine resource could make senior Lin Feng so concerned? Was he betting on it for him? Good daughter, are you confident? Senior son looked at his daughter. This was a very big bet. Yes. The girl nodded expressionlessly. Ha ha ha, drink, Lin Feng laughed heartily and said. Drink, drink, drink. Speaking of which, kid, what's your background? Lin Feng dared to place such a big bet on you and deduce a top-notch divine race evolution path. Wouldn't we drain him dry and make him weak for decades? Senior son looked at Shi Yu deeply. What background can he have? He's just a little guy from Wang Kong's mother planet. He's not worth mentioning. At this moment, Lin Feng didn't dare let senior son ask blindly, afraid that he wouldn't bet anymore. Shi Yu just had to shut up now. Shi Yu was speechless. That night, Shi Yu ate very well. One way or another, the meat was better than the cultivation fruit. A storm brewed in the central realm. Many geniuses of various realms had come here and didn't choose to participate in the god-sealing battle in their hometowns. Because just the atmosphere of participation was completely different. Time quickly passed and it was soon the night before the god-sealing battle began. The spectators from the various realms of the World King planet who were paying attention to the god-sealing battle began to pay attention to the official website of the god-sealing battle. As of the end of the registration, a total of 83,886,09 people had signed up for this year's god-sealing battle. It was considered one of the few batches of applicants in recent years. The reason why the god-sealing battle received so much attention was that every subsequent god-sealing battle would be broadcast live on the official website of the god-sealing battle in the form of different live streams. Tonight, more than 4 million battle lists would be randomly matched. The rules of the god-sealing battle were a very simple elimination battle. In a 2-on-1 battle, the loser would be eliminated, and the winner would advance. In the initial 4 million live streams, it was naturally impossible for passers-by to pay attention to every battle. What the audience wanted to see was basically the battle process of relatives and friends they knew, or experts who had obtained outstanding results in the previous batch. The number of registrations is singular. Perhaps Shi Yu will be the lucky one to advance without a battle. In the floating realm, the Gem Cat girl had also returned to the World King planet. At this moment, she was paying attention to the god-sealing battle with Senior Dragon God. The Dragon God didn't choose to register for this god-sealing battle. She felt that with her current strength, she wouldn't have good results and planned to cultivate for a few more years. Even if she knew that a bunch of demigods on Blue Planet had already successfully upgraded, she wasn't in a hurry to break through. I hope so. The Dragon God smiled. Wind of Blessing? Could it be that this skill could really make Shi Yu so lucky? Not only the Gem Cat and the Dragon God, but many people were also curious about who would be so lucky to advance without a battle. Soon, it was time for the battle list to be announced. Swoosh! The official website interface refreshed, and a dense list of countless pages directly refreshed. The quality of the server was super strong. At this time, naturally, no one would look at them one by one. They were all good at using the search function. F*CK? In the floating realm. The Gem Cat, who was paying attention to the candidates, was directly stunned. Ling? The lucky one who advanced without a battle was surprisingly Ling from the floating realm. For a moment, the Dragon God was also slightly silent. This little cat was really right? Out of more than 8 million contestants, it was the lucky one who advanced directly without competing. What kind of luck was this? I knew it, the Gem Cat said. Wait, why isn't it Shi Yu, but Ling? The gem cat was puzzled. Wait a minute, why did Ling register alone? What's going on? In the central realm. In a luxurious room. Holy shit, Ling advanced. Shi Yu and the others also surrounded him and looked at the situation of the randomly matched opponents. The matching of the God-sealing battle depended on luck. As long as single was unlucky, the initial and second places of the previous batch might be matched in the first round and one would be eliminated. It wasn't like this had never happened before. Therefore, every pet took the next opponent very seriously. After all, the frequency of the early stages of the competition was quite high. If they encountered a strong enemy correct from the start, even if they won, it wasn't easy for them to recover their state, and they might lose the next round. Of course, in order to avoid this situation, Shi Yu and the others had prepared a lot of supplements in advance. The Space Emperor and Lin Feng too provided a lot. I actually advanced without a fight. Boring. I still want to fight. Seeing this, the image of the ship girl on the mini battleship, Ling, revealed a dissatisfied expression. Kai Tong, Susu, and the others looked at Ling and curled their lips. Shouldn't Ling be happy that it was the lucky one? Forget about Ling, hurry up and investigate who your opponents are and if there are any strong enemies, Shi Yu said. If they matched the contestants who had participated in the God-sealing battle previously, they could see the other party's historical results. Ji! Yi! Nink! Soon, the pets shouted and complained. Weak, too weak. The opponents they matched had historical battle results, but none of them were high. They were all above the 1 millionth rank. Without thinking, they might be able to insta-kill the other party with a casual move. Buggy, Baby Ginseng, Kai Tong, Susu, Ducky, Little G, Turtle, Little Quass, Shorty, and the others had bored expressions. It's normal. It's only the first battle, Shi Yu said. Where's 11? At this moment, only 11 didn't say anything. At that moment, 11 hugged his laptop with a complicated expression and couldn't help but smile. Woo woo woo. Seeing 11's strange expression, everyone leaned over. Some too took their computers and searched for 11's opponent. This seek directly made Shi Yu's entire team fall silent. Even when it was revealed that Ling was the lucky single to advance, the entire team had never been so silent. This was because Ling's good luck was obvious to everyone. But 11, wasn't it a little too F***king ridiculous? Battle number, 2022, Battle List, Zevai, vs 11. 11's initial opponent was Zevai of the Cosmic Crow race, who held the first place title of the God-sealing battle for 79 consecutive times. Right from the start, 11 encountered the previous reigning champion. Chapter 1451 First Battle 1. 1451 First Battle 1. After Shi Yu and the others arrived at the World King planet and paid attention to the God-sealing battle, the first name they knew was Zevai. Because its battle results were too dazzling. Before Zevai participated in the God-sealing battle, there was a monster combination that won the God-sealing battle 101 time in a row. No one could defeat it. Until this Zevai of the Cosmic Crow race participated and the 101st streak ended. Then, it was the era of Zevai's rule over the God-sealing battle for 79 consecutive years. The previous champion participated again and could only stay in second place. People gave a description for this genius from the Cosmic Crow race, who was ranked 30th among the myriad of races in the starry sky. The strongest below the divine level in a century. A monster with 15 quasi-divine skills, including 5 time-element quasi-divine skills, was indeed worthy of this title. It was said that Zevai could have broken through to the divine level a century ago. The reason he suppressed his level and didn't break through was to defeat that intermediate god at the demigod level and take away the reward. Of course, monsters like Zevai, after obtaining first place in so many god-sealing battles, still couldn't pass the additional challenge after winning the god-sealing battle and defeating the intermediate god guarding the reward. It was obvious how difficult it was to obtain the final reward. 11's first opponent was actually it. Out of more than 8 million demigod contestants, 11 was matched with this guy at once. Oh my God, Shiyu couldn't help but hold his forehead. What kind of luck was this? Woo woo woo, woo woo woo. However, 11 was very excited. The other pets were shocked, not because they sympathized with 11, but because they were green with envy. Yee! Baby Ginseng was extremely dissatisfied. Why did 11 match Zervay? Zervay was clearly the opponent it wanted to defeat. Gee! Buggy and the others had uncomfortable expressions. How glorious would it be to defeat the previous first place? Why weren't they the ones matched with Zervay? Why 11? This luck. If it were other contestants, they would be considered very unlucky. Fortunately, we have the strength. Otherwise, I would really suspect that Ling sucked away 11's luck. Shiyu looked at the battle list and couldn't help but smile. All right, so be it. 11's current quasi-divine skills were inferior to the other party, but their quality had all exceeded that of Zervay's. Moreover, Shiyu had seen Zervay's battle video. Although he wasn't too sure, he felt that 11 shouldn't lose. Moreover, its skills countered the other party in a certain way. Even if he didn't support 11, the chances of winning were very high. At this moment, Shiyu and the others weren't the only ones who discovered 11 vs Zervay. Lin Feng and the Space Emperor, who were more concerned about Shiyu, also found the details of the battle on their side. The corners of their mouths couldn't help but twitch. They knew Shiyu's registration mode. 11 and the others' identification and strength certificates were even issued by the Space Emperor, so the two of them went straight to the point and searched for the names of Shiyu's pets. This search. This unlucky child, they couldn't help but say. It was unknown if they were talking about 11 or Zervay. Not only them, but many people also paid attention to Shiyu and 11. For example, in the Blue Wave world, Director Sen of the Myriad Races Committee hadn't seen 11 participate in the Myriad Race ranking battle for a long time. Apart from paying attention to the God Sealing battle, he couldn't help but search for 11 to see if it participated. After searching, Director Sen was also stunned. Zervay? At the same time, Fanbar of the Star Refining Race, who had been beaten up by 11 in the ranking battle of all races, was also stunned. It also knew that 11 would participate in the God-Sealing battle. After this search, it was directly silenced by 11's unlucky state. I finally refined a new arms. I originally wanted to compete with you to see whose ranking in the God-Sealing battle is higher, but the purple-skinned holy person shook its head. No matter how strong 11 was, it didn't think that 11 could defeat a monster like Zervay. Not to mention the 10 5-element divine skills that could be combined, just the 5-time quasi-divine skills, time acceleration, time deceleration, time stop, time reversal, and time mark, could play a bunch of opponents to death. 11 was going to be given away for nothing. Perhaps not many people knew 11, but as the champion of 79 consecutive championships, the attention on Zervay was undoubtedly off the charts. A bunch of spectators started searching to see who was so fortunate to have faced Zervay in the first round. 11? I've never heard of it. There's no participation record. It's a pure newbie. How unlucky. The first time it participated in the God-Sealing battle, it encountered Zervay. How is it supposed to play this? Ha ha. Dongxian region. Why can't I find Shiyu? The Ice Kirin Race's Bobo, who had been defeated by 11 above its level, later learned that 11 was the pet of Blue Planet's genius, Shiyu. It felt that Shiyu would definitely participate in this God-Sealing battle, so it searched. However, it couldn't find Shiyu's name. It took a step back and searched for Shiyu's pet, 11. Then, it also looked at the words, 11 vs Zervay, in silence. Who's this 11? Why is it so fortunate to have encountered Zervay? Zilan, Phoenix Man, and the others, who had come to the Dongxian region to register for the God-Sealing battle, didn't pay much interest to Shiyu at first. They were all paying attention to the opponents they matched. However, when the others on the discussion board discussed how the fortunate guy had faced Zervay in the first round, they were slightly stunned when they saw the recognizable name 11. Their faces darkened. Why was it so familiar? Was Shiyu's iron-eating beast called 11? Chapter 1452, The First Battle, 2. 1452 The First Battle, 2. At the same time, in the same central realm, Zevei itself, who was at the core of the discussion, was a cosmic life form with a human body, crow head, and crow wings. It didn't even pay attention to who its opponent was. Its entire body emitted an invincible aura as it meditated calmly and waited for tomorrow's competition. It didn't care who the opponent was, because it was the strongest. After the name list of the God-sealing battle was out, the various major realms were lively. The level of attention to such a global battle was naturally extremely high. Soon, countless people successfully welcomed the arrival of the next day with anticipation. The next morning. How is it? Do you really not need me to attack with you? Shiyu asked again. Woo woo woo. 11 nodded. It could do it, it would definitely win. All right. Shiyu smiled. He originally wanted to go up and fuse and replicate the skill, but forget it, it was the same to find an opportunity to replicate it after the competition. His skill slots were limited now. With Zevei's pile of top-notch skills, his skill slots weren't enough at all. If he replicated Zevei's skills, he couldn't replicate others. Shiyu planned to let his pets go up and fight, while he himself would be below. He would pay attention to who had top-notch skills in all aspects and compare the goods. Then, he would visit them one by one after the God-sealing battle ended. Shiyu? How's your preparations? On the day of the competition, when Shiyu and the others planned to go out to the God-sealing battle competition area, Lin Feng was already guarding the door. He had already rushed over to look for Shiyu last night, but seeing that Shiyu was confidently massaging 11's body and adjusting its state, he didn't stay long. Today is 11's God-sealing battle. Shiyu's words had two meanings. Woo! 11 was wearing a victory scarf and was full of fighting intent. Raw Tilda in Shiyu's group, Buggy and the others also congratulated this panda. Seeing this, Lin Feng smiled. All right, then it would depend on 11's performance. There were battle facilities in the 251 districts of World King City that could be used as teleportation points for the God-sealing battle. 11 and the others were pretty lucky. Because they registered consecutively, they were all assigned to a battle facility. They all logged into the second world from the teleportation point of the battle facility 203 to participate in the God-sealing battle. Wu Tilda's 11 was like a big brother as it walked at the front. When it looked up, it could see the silver battle symbol of the battle facility shining under the sun. The panda led the way, the worm crawled on the ground, the starry sky slime jumped about, and the mini warship followed behind. The ginseng baby wore a researcher suit, and the beautiful sword maiden was dressed in black. The ferocious dragon, the blindfolded duck, the four-headed turtle snake, and the short-legged cat were all present. All of them were full of evil fighting intent. Shiyu held his cell phone and walked at the end like a passerby who didn't know them. Due to time problems, he intended to only pay attention to 11's combat live broadcast. I must enter the top 500,000 of this year's God-sealing battle. Outside the combat facility, a young man riding a dragon landed and made a great wish. If you can withstand one round, you'll be considered to have succeeded. A cat-headed person also walked into the battle facility resolutely. It looked like it was the only one without a contracted partner. If you can't enter the top 1 million this year, don't come back. I don't have such a useless son. There were even divine-level experts who sent their descendants over the whole time and gave them a strict warning. Dad! Don't worry, at least the first round is stable. I matched with a strange-colored slime. It's a newbie. How lively, Shiyu muttered to himself after following 11 and the others in. At this moment, the combat facilities were filled with contestants and staff. The God-sealing battle wasn't a traditional competition. It was held online the whole time and there were no audience seats. The contestants came from various realms and could only watch through the online live stream. However, as long as one was willing to spend money, they could buy a relatively high-level spectator device. During the live broadcast, they could enter the God-sealing battlefield of the Second World with their consciousness and watch the battle with their own eyes. This made Xiyu unable to help but sigh. Big places really knew how to play. Roar! I'll go prepare first. Quack! Me too. After entering the battle facility, Little G and Ducky asked for instructions and hurried to a teleportation venue with the contestant card. The competitions of different contestants were carried out at different times. For example, Little G and Ducky started the tournament at 7 o'clock, 11 started the competition at 7:10, and Xiyu's other pet's time was even later. In order to not delay watching 11's competition, Little G and Ducky ran to the battle at lightning speed, wanting to defeat the opponent in 10 minutes and come out. Xiyu didn't pay attention to their battle. It wasn't that he didn't care about Little G and Ducky, but the historical ranking of their opponents in the God-sealing battle was in the millions. Not long after arriving at the World King planet, after Little G first merged with the World Annihilation Dragon Pearl, its strength was enough to suppress the top 10,000 contestants of the God-sealing battle. And now, after comprehensive fusion, additional points, and cultivation, facing an opponent in the millionth place, to be honest, it only needed one deterrence. A deterrence that merged with the destruction wall was enough to crush the other party's spirit and make the other party submit to the power of an overlord. Ducky was about the same. After fusing with the eye of the evil god, it only needed a deterrence that swept up its terrifying and deep abyssal evil thoughts to scare weak opponents into peeing their pants. There was really no need to pay attention to such battles. Xiyu believed in his pets. Therefore, after letting Little G and Ducky go, Xiyu and the others followed 11 to the venue where it had to teleport. The venue was very large. There were a total of 10 teleportation arrays, each guarded by a staff member who had reached the divine level. Although they were all junior gods, if any conflict was discovered at the scene, so many divine-level staff members were enough to suppress it. Chapter 1453, 1453 The First Battle, 3. 1453 The First Battle, 3. In the venue, hundreds of contestants had already arrived early in the morning. They stayed in different places in the venue. They were either sitting or leaning against the wall to rest with their eyes closed. The atmosphere was solemn. Most people didn't care much when 11 and the other pets entered. A small number of contestants looked over and observed. Hey, that black and white bear. In the arena, a hairy-faced monkey in a battle suit leaning against the wall suddenly grinned and said, "Why does it look so familiar? Are you 11? Your opponent in the first battle is Zevei from the Cosmic Crow race?" On the battle list, there was the profile picture of the identity certificate used by every contestant to register. 11's profile picture was naturally on it. Who? Yes. 11 looked over and spoke in the cute universal language. This was a skill where telepathy materialized into language through the mouth. The pets in Xiyu's team were already expert level. Hee, it's true. You actually dare join after knowing who your opponent is? The hairy-faced monkey grinned in disbelief. After knowing that its opponent was Zevei, it actually came to participate. Wasn't it afraid of being beaten to the verge of death? Healing costs money. Wasn't it better to give up the competition directly? At this moment, as the fur-faced monkey spoke, the gazes of the entire venue concentrated on 11. A smile appeared on their faces. This unlucky guy. The originally solemn atmosphere of the venue actually had a little joy for a moment. Although the subsequent competition schedule was tense, at least, they weren't as unlucky as 11 to come across the previous champion right from the start. So be it, but it actually came to participate. Interesting. Buggy and the others, who entered with 11, also smiled. However, they were smiling because this group of people didn't know 11's strength. This was the #1 Panda King in the universe. How could it be defeated by some Cosmic Crow race? Roar! Quack! Soon, Little G and Ducky rushed over. Just as Xiyu thought, they insta-killed their opponent with a deterrence. Seeing that 11 had yet to leave, they heaved a sigh of relief. Time passed little by little. A group of people had long entered Livestream 2022, waiting to see the Battle of Zevey. After all, it was the strongest below the divine level in 100 years. Its popularity was undoubtedly the highest. Before long, the Battle Room 2022 opened. The screen flashed, and a rock arena appeared. On the arena, the figures of the two parties slowly appeared. On the left was a 2-meter-tall Zevey in red, black wings, and a crow head and human body. On the other side was 11, who was more than a meter tall and wasn't wearing anything. It had a victory headband tied to its head. So strong. Many people could sense Zevey's bottomless and rich power after entering the second battlefield to watch the battle through the virtual glasses. I can feel that it has improved again. Its strength is increasing a little every year. The human who had once won the championship 101 consecutive times and his contracted partner looked at Zevey solemnly. His name was Ming Jiu, and he was recognized as the strongest below Zevey. In the past dozens of years, his goal had long changed from completing the champion challenge to defeating Zevey. It could be said that he was very concerned about Zevey's every move. Whoosh! Countless people surged into the live stream. Emperor Kong, Lin Feng, Dragon God, Gem Cat, Zilan, Phoenix Man, Director Sen, Star Refining Races Fan Bar, Green Dragon Gorka, Ice Kirin Bobo. As everyone can see, Contestant Zevey and Contestant 11 have already logged onto the arena. Under the attention of countless people, a virtual little elf appeared in everyone's vision. Everyone looked at the scene from its perspective. This was a battle elf, a virtual mechanical intelligence life form. When the attention of a certain live stream reached a certain standard, they would appear and explain the battle to everyone like a commentator to increase its popularity. Of course, if one didn't want to see it, they could also choose to block it and watch the battle wholeheartedly. However, after all, they were watching the battle from a space. Even if it was a divine-level expert, they couldn't guarantee that they could see every detail of the battle clearly. The battle elf's explanations could reduce a lot of doubts. In this battle, everyone felt that the battle elf was dispensable. This was because no matter how they looked at it, just one move was needed to end the battle. The only ones who could make Zevey feel that it was a little troublesome were probably the monsters in the top 5. Contestant Zevey has already won first place in the God Ceiling battle for 79 consecutive times. I believe its goal this year is the same as usual. As for its opponent, 11, it seems to be participating in the God Ceiling battle for the first time. I wonder what kind of sparks can be produced from the battle between them. Please, look forward to it. After the battle elf finished speaking, it floated to the side and zoomed in. Zevey and 11 had already looked at each other. Zevey stood on the spot indifferently, its eyes not caring about 11, its opponent. It didn't take 11 seriously at all. After entering the arena, a powerful mental intimidation began to spread from Zevey's body. Boom! A terrifying mental deterrence swept towards 11 like a tsunami. The ground cracked. The sky cracked. Wherever the intimidation swept, space and time seemed to have stopped. On the other side, 11 also looked at Zevey very calmly. It could also sense Zevey's powerful aura and couldn't help but be satisfied from the bottom of its heart. This was how it should be. The first place in the God Ceiling battle indeed lived up to its reputation. The opponent was very strong, and 11 was very satisfied. However, 11 didn't like the opponent's disdainful attitude. Chapter 1454, 1454 The First Battle, 4. 1454 The First Battle, 4. Today, it would teach this guy how to be a crow. The battle has started. Before encountering an opponent really worth attacking, Contestant Zevey has always used his deterrence to instantly kill the other party. If you're not strong enough, you'll fall in front of Contestant Zevey in an instant, the battle elf said. It was over? As Zevey erupted with incomparable deterrence, many spectators knew that the competition was over. However, boom! In the next moment, the deterrence wave swept across 11's entire body, but 11 stood on the spot without any effect. At the same time, its body erupted with a thunderous bang. Wait, it's unharmed? The audience, who originally thought that this unknown black and white bear would be insta-killed by deterrence, was stunned when they saw how calm Eleven was under this terrifying deterrence. On the other side, Zervais' eyes also flashed before it was suddenly stunned, because it discovered that the opponent didn't do any protective measures and received the deterrence. Under its gaze, Eleven took a step back with its right foot and made a punching posture with its right fist. "This is..." the battle elf said. Contestant 11 relied on its physical strength to withstand Zervais' deterrence. Then, it chose to punch directly in the air. 11 directly punched out in the air with its physical strength. Buzz! The air compressed and space distorted. 11's punch, with its physical strength, directly formed a storm-like counterattack in the air, instantly scattering all the deterrents. With a crack, the deterrents shattered. The fist wind swept up a terrifying impact, directly lifting up the cracked rock ground at the speed of light, sweeping up gravel that filled the sky. "What skill is this?" countless spectators exclaimed. The conflict elf said, "A punch that hits the air with muscle power alone. This isn't a skill." Boom! When the little elf's voice sounded, the fist wind blew Zervais away from the spot in an instant. Its wings protected its body as it moved back dozens of meters. Its entire body seemed to have suffered 1,000 cuts. Even the wind blade domain of the wind law didn't feel so powerful. The battlefield rumbled. Zervais drew a deep crack on the ground before stopping. When the storm dissipated, dense injuries had already appeared on Zervais' body. Its entire wing was trembling. At this moment, the sky was instantly cloudless. Everyone was shocked by this scene. "Who is this 11? What race is it from? Where did it come from?" 11 didn't shock the audience after enduring Zervais' deterrence, but seeing 11 send Zervais flying with a punch in the air without even touching it, this had already exceeded everyone's understanding. This power, how is this possible? Its physique is even more terrifying. Farnbar of the Star Refining race, Ice Kareen Bobo, and these lives who had fought 11 were also shocked when they saw this scene. From proficiency to expert plus 11, the 13 additional points added to the battle god body undoubtedly brought a qualitative leap to 11. At the same time, when multiple top-notch quasi-divine skills were maxed out, the energy increase brought by them also turned into an increase in physique due to the nature of the battle god body. This was already an extremely heaven-defying physique. Even a cosmic behemoth was only SOSO. However, many people were only slightly shocked. They didn't feel that the scales of victory would tilt because of this. Because Zervais didn't even use 1/10 of his strength. Countless people only felt that the first conflict contestant Zervais encountered might not be as weak as they imagined. Not bad. At this moment, Zervais spread its wings, and its red crow eyes flickered, as if it valued 11 a little. "Can you be more serious? I don't want you to lose for no reason." After 11 punched out, it recovered its image as a good baby and looked at Zervais seriously. Boom! As 11 finished speaking, in an instant, it triggered a vibration even stronger than its punch in the various realms. Countless onlookers widened their eyes and wondered if they had heard wrongly. What was this guy saying? Was it crazy? It said it didn't want Zervais to lose for no reason? Not to mention an unknown figure saying this, even that guy that had won 101 consecutive championships didn't dare say such big words in front of Zervais. "This guy is too arrogant," Ming Jiyu said with gritted teeth. Didn't it hear of Zervais? Underestimating Zervais was underestimating him, Ming Jiyu. Is that so? But at this moment, in the face of 11's words, Zervais didn't react. It was still calm. Its body slowly floated up, and its arm was raised high above its head. In its palm, a 5-colored light ball of gold, green, blue, red, and brown began to condense, compress, and spin. It was like a 5-colored star. Every light flowed with nomological ripples. It was unbelievable. Every time they saw this scene, many spectators still felt that it was ridiculous. Zervais has mastered the prototype of the 5 major laws of metal, wood, water, fire, and earth, and can freely fuse them. Not to mention the quasi-divine skill stage. Even at the divine skill stage, there are very few who confuse the 5 stats laws. Is the talent of the Cosmic Crow race really so powerful? In the past, when this move was used, it was a sure kill. The frightening destructive power of the fusion of the 5 elements will even immediately defeat Primera-level gods. And the most frightening thing is that Xavei's skills will never be wasted. In the face of Xavei, who controls the power of time, any opponent is a doll that can be controlled by it. 11 hasn't realized how frightening its opponent is at all. Chapter 1455 The First Battle, 5. 1455 The First Battle, 5. 11 is in danger. However, if its physical strength is really that strong, perhaps there's still a chance of survival. It won't die. It can only blame itself for saying such big words just now. In the floating realm, the gem cat also revealed a serious expression. The other party's talent for controlling multi-element energy was simply unique. Although she could control 9-element energy balls, she only controlled combinations separately. And this guy actually fused 5 nomological energies together. As countless people muttered in their hearts, Xavei's arm landed, and the 5-element light balls also landed. Under the powerful energy pressure, the entire venue instantly collapsed. Boom! Just as 11 stepped on the arena and was about to leap up, a grey domain directly enveloped the entire place. In everyone's vision, time seemed to have stopped. Apart from Xavei and the 5-element light balls still moving, 11's figure seemed to have been fixed there. Time stopped domain. Under everyone's focused gaze, the 5-element light ball instantly fell. The light that pierced through space enlarged infinitely in everyone's vision, almost destroying everything and blasting out a bottomless abyss thousands of meters in diameter. Boom! In the abyss, light pollution continued to spread, forming a 5-colored energy storm that spread in all directions in a shocking manner. In the sky, Xavei looked at the destroyed arena with a calm expression. But soon, its expression froze. For the first time, its expression changed. Xavei wasn't the only one. The expressions of these spectators, who had yet to recover from their shock, also changed. Ying, this was because, in the huge abyss hole, a small figure slowly flew up. Although the injuries on its body looked extremely miserable, there was no ripple in its eyes. Soon, it flew to the same height as Xavei. At this moment, countless spectators opened their mouths wide. This was because in the dozens of god-sealing battles, there were very few contestants who could resist Xavei's attack head-on and still move normally. Even the intermediate god of the champion challenge would be injured if it took this attack head-on. 11 actually took it. It took it, it took it. The battle elf was also very surprised. What was wrong with this guy? What's wrong with this guy? With Ming Ji as the lead, many spectators voiced their shock and found it unbelievable. Woo! Again! 11 looked at Xavei with high battle intent. When its battle god body was injured, it would transform into physique and life force. The more heavily injured it was, the stronger its battle power. At the moment, it wasn't the peak state 11 was looking forward to. You should have fallen directly. Xavei's expression was unfriendly, feeling that it had been underestimated. It spread its wings, and a white domain enveloped its entire body, accelerating the release of its skills. In an instant, a 5-element energy ball emerged behind it, 2, 3, 4, 5. There were a total of 5 such energy balls. With a flap of its wings, the attack instantly arrived. 11 flew in the sky like that, ignoring whether the other party had triggered any time-stop domain. Right on the heels of that, an attack that shocked many people struck on 11. After a world-destroying boom, countless people's hearts thumped as they opened their eyes in disbelief. They looked at the figure that was still flying in midair like a battle god and couldn't imagine it. 11 hadn't fallen yet. Woo! 11 roared happily. Its shocking battle intent materialized into lightning, making Xavei, who was opposite it, reveal a shocked expression. What's wrong with this guy's physique? Xavei had once fought a real cosmic behemoth. It felt that 11's physique was already comparable to a cosmic behemoth. Yi? Next, it's my turn to counterattack. 11 felt that its physique had been strengthened to the point where it could erupt with full power with one thought of God and demon, and clenched its fists. Bang! Accompanied by a thunderclap, a white lightning flashed in 11's black eyes, turning into a white thunder armor wrapped around its entire body. One thought of God and demon, thunder god armor. Using the power of the lightning law to stimulate his body even stronger, it descended into a state that was almost self-mutilating. Even its reaction consciousness began to circulate at a high frequency. Roar! Under 11's roar, the audience, who was already shocked, was stunned again. They saw that the current 11's aura agitated the sky and earth, erupting to the point where even gods had to retreat when they saw it. With a boom, the sky seemed to have sensed 11's power. White lightning arcs began to appear in the entire world and dispersed in nature. Originally, 11's physique had already reached an extremely unbelievable level. And now, the cover of the Thunder God armor made its physical strength enter an even more brutal, explosive state. Time. Reversal. After its opponent entered an explosive state, Zhevei's expression changed slightly. It sensed a threat that wasn't inferior to Ming Jiyu. It let out a low cry, and the power of time in its body dispersed again. Apart from using time reversal, all the consumption produced just now was completely recovered. The state of its body almost went back to when it had just entered the battlefield and started the battle. After all, the consumption of using time reversal was far smaller than the combo just now. Seeing this scene, the audience once again felt that the time element was ridiculously powerful. They felt that it was impossible for Zhevei to lose. Chapter 1456, 1456 The First Battle, 6. 1456 The First Battle, 6. Time reversal could allow Zhevei to return to his peak state at any time. Time Mark had the chance to revive Zhevei twice and return him to his peak state. It was impossible for Zhevei to be defeated by someone of the same level. However, is it that simple? In the Dongxian realm, the Ice Kirin muttered. It felt like 11 was extremely ridiculous. It had seen 11 erupt with all its might, but the feeling 11 gave it just now was that it wasn't inferior to the full-strength state when fighting it just now. How long had it been? It had actually progressed so much? If the current 11 erupted with all its might, how powerful would it be? The Ice Kirin couldn't imagine it. There was no need to imagine it, because immediately, under everyone's gaze, 11's eruption continued without stopping. The eruption that made Zhevei come back to its peak state as if it was facing a great enemy was only 11's initial eruption. The eruption wasn't over. With another bang, black lightning erupted from 11's body. In the sky, 11 clenched its fists. With two loud bangs, white lightning wrapped around its body, and black lightning flowed. Under the interweaving impact of the power of lightning, a powerful and mysterious power that wasn't inferior to the power of a god appeared like a miracle. Roar! 11 roared again. The shocking roar made everyone widen their eyes and reveal astonished expressions. One thought of God and demon, demon god body. It was a move that increased the strength of the body to the limit through the power of dark thunder. The Thunder God armor combined with the power of light thunder was a complete version of the demon god's thought. Unlike the initial demon god's thought, 11 still mastered the light control and dark control quasi-divine skills in a perfect state, making the power that its demon god's thought could erupt with even more terrifying. In an instant, the black and white electric arcs that filled the sky seemed to have become 11's hair. They kept floating, making 11 look like a thunder god walking out of the chaos of the lightning sea. At this moment, a godlike power completely surged from its body, shaking the sky and earth, reversing the universe, and sweeping across. It even made the wings of the cosmic crow Zhevei, who had just recovered to its peak state, tremble. Woo! Come on, as 11 called out, its body showed signs of attacking, making Zhevei quickly activate the time stop domain and the time deceleration domain. The two time domains spread and enveloped 11. However, in the grey domain, 11, who was opposite him, seemed to be unaffected. Black and white lightning flashed on its body, and it still maintained a high speed as it instantly arrived in front of Zhevei. Bang, 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 bang. During this process, the time domain trembled. The time that was exceeded seemed to wail and enter the demon god's thought. However, under the stimulation of the power of light, darkness, and lightning, it could break through the restrictions of the brain and obtain extremely strong attacks, defense, speed, immunity to injuries, and the power of thought and reaction that exceeded time. In other words, the current 11 was almost not restricted by Zervais' time domain. In the domain, all living beings were equal. Roar! 11's arrival made Zervais incredulous. A 5-colored muslin quickly spread from its body. That was another combination of profundity in Zervais. If the 5-element light ball just now focused on attacking, the current 5-element battlesuit was focused on defense. However, this combination skill, which could be said to be the strongest defense, like the strongest attack, instantly fractured like glass when it smashed the light, darkness, and lightning fist heavily into Zervais' abdomen under the impact of the 11 consecutive punches. Zervais let out a puff and widened its eyes. It sensed that this attack was even more frightening than its strongest attack power. It was very unbelievable. Was the opponent really only a quasi-divine? Before its thoughts fell, its body seemed to have fallen apart. It flew backward infinitely and was sent flying, turning into a beam of light. The booming sound of air being torn apart showed how frightening the force Zervais had encountered so far was. All the spectators instantly saw it from the perspective of the battle sprite. Its abdomen was almost penetrated, and countless drops of blood flowed down its body and spewed out of its mouth. In an instant, even the battle sprite fell silent. The huge difference between the two parties reversed, making the information it stored a little unable to react. If it was like this, the various spectators undoubtedly revealed shocked expressions. "Zervais, what are you doing?" Seeing this scene, Ming Ji-yu, who regarded Zervais as its strongest opponent, revealed an expression as if it had seen a ghost. Where did 11 come from? It could actually make Zervais? What a joke! That Zervais was suppressed? What's the hurry? Zervais won't lose. Don't forget, it can reverse time at any time, and it has 2 chances of revival. Online and offline, the audience members who were paying attention to this battle fell into a discussion. The number of people in the live stream was still rising crazily. It was nothing. Zervais had yet to lose. However, if Zervais handed over the time mark even once in the first battle, it would be a loss for it. This was because even if it used the time mark twice, it might not necessarily be able to defeat the intermediate god challenged by the champion. If it lost once or 2 times in the god-sealing battle, the challenge this year would undoubtedly end in failure again. At this moment, countless people were paying attention to the battle, wanting to see how the subsequent development would go. Reversal. Zervais, who was sent flying, used time reversal with difficulty. As the power of time was consumed, its body returned to its nearly peak state. At the same time, its expression was even more ferocious, no longer as calm as before. Chapter 1457, 1457 The First Battle, 7. 1457 The First Battle, 7. At this moment, it felt a huge pressure, just like facing that intermediate god. This gave it the illusion that it couldn't defeat its opponent without using the time mark. However, for the sake of the champion challenge, it definitely couldn't use it. The other party's eruption couldn't last long. It only wanted. Boom! Zervais, who had just returned to a relatively intact state, didn't even see 11's figure. It didn't even have time to activate its time domain before it felt a palm that descended from the sky and pinched its head. Roar. 11 descended at lightning speed and was sent flying above Zervais. The thunder palm pinched its head, and its body turned into a bolt of lightning that fell to the other intact ground. Thunderlight flashed, drawing a beautiful straight line in midair. With a bang, the power of bolt corroded its body and caused a massive impact. When another huge pit appeared on the ground, Zervais, who had its head smashed, felt like it was about to faint. Apart from vomiting blood, it felt that its consciousness couldn't even control time reversal. Bang! 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 11 grabbed the other party's head with one hand and threw a heavy punch with the other. Without giving the other party a chance to reverse time, it attacked crazily and punched crazily. The attack seemed to have exceeded time. Looking at Zervais, who was crushed and vomiting blood, the audience was afraid. The audience, who originally thought that Zervais could rely on time reversal to fight 11, was stunned. This? What kind of monster was this? Where did this monster come from? It actually ravaged Zervais to this extent. Zervais didn't even have a chance to use time reversal. Test completed. Contestant 11's state is an overload state. It's estimated to last less than a minute. At this moment, seeing Zervais' miserable appearance, the spectators of the various realms swallowed their saliva crazily. Only when they heard the analysis conclusion of the battle sprite did they return to their senses. Yes, how could such a powerful state be maintained for a long time? The audience, who had the ridiculous thought that Zervais would lose, suddenly shook their heads. Zervais wouldn't lose. Although it might waste a time mark, Zervais would still win. However, 11's existence seemed to be born to break this naive thought. 11 sighed and threw Zervais' body into the sky. In the next moment, boom! An unprecedented massive millstone appeared in midair under 11's feet. A circular metal millstone formed, showing black and white clueless colors, one yin and one yang, one light and one dark. It was filled with two-colored bolt that fused, converted, and collided. It was extremely mysterious. Everything around it seemed to have turned into chaos, disintegrating and being obliterated. After condensing a millstone, 11 stood on the millstone and watched as Zervais, who had been thrown into the sky, slowly fell. Rip! When Zervais descended into the sky above the millstone, its body was fixed in midair by the yin-yang lightning. A strong destructive power swept up. Ah! Accompanied by Zervais' shocking roar, everyone looked at the two marks that contained strong traces of time spreading out from Zervais' body in disbelief. Time mark! The key to Zervais' revival. However, at this moment, time mark was actually pulled out of its body. As the yin-yang millstone under 11's feet spun crazily, it was crazily disintegrated and obliterated by an unbelievable mysterious power. In the blink of an eye, the two time marks were corroded by the black and white power and collapsed into nothingness. On the millstone, the power of time in Zervais' body also disintegrated crazily and disappeared. The floating Zervais seemed to have gone from a high and mighty invincible king to a prisoner whose life was controlled by others in an extremely short period of time. Roar! 11 emitted a monstrous deterrence and announced its victory. Universe, do you see it? This was the iron-eating beast. When the deterrence trembled, all the spectators were also shocked, their gazes exploding. The time mark too. Impossible! The second place, Ming Ji couldn't accept this scene and was extremely shocked. Holy shit, holy shit, holy shit. Lin Feng, who was also watching the battle, was extremely excited. Seeing 11 really win, he also experienced that it was ridiculous. Although Shiyu was full of confidence, it was another feeling to really see the outcome. In the floating realm, the Space Emperor also descended into incomparable thought. Wait a minute, what was going on? Shiyu used only one pet, a pet without the support of a beast tamer, to overcome the previous champion, the Cosmic Crow Zervais, who was ranked in the top 30 of the myriad races in the starry sky. Although he had very high expectations for Shiyu's initial answer scroll was too ridiculous. Fan Ba, Green Dragon Gorka, Director Sen, Z Lan, Phoenix Man, and the others didn't think highly of 11 at the start and experienced that 11 was really unlucky. At this moment, they even lost their ability to think. What's wrong with this world? Hee hee. The Gem Cat wasn't surprised to see the results of the competition. What was wrong with the universe? It was actually not surprised that Shiyu had created such a miracle in the universe. She looked at the silent dragon god and patted this senior. Calm down, senior dragon god, all the best. You've already been exceeded by Shiyu too much. This cultivation fruit is for you. In the battle venue of the second world. 11 looked at the battle elf and asked if it had won. Chapter 1458 The First Battle, 8. 1458 The First Battle, 8. The time mark had already been obliterated. He couldn't really kill this guy, right? It looked at Zervais, who had completely lost the ability to resist and had fallen into the huge pit. One way or another, this friend was still worth making. The battle elf was also a little stunned at this moment. It couldn't believe that the previous champion, Zervais, who had won 79 championships in a row, was eliminated in the first battle. Its ranking was now in the millionth. It suddenly looked at 11, the harmless Panda 11, on behalf of all the spectators. Who exactly was this guy? Who exactly was he? At this moment, all the spectators' curiosity about 11 reached the extreme. This guy was too terrifying. Ground 2022, winner, 11. Before everyone could react, a light figure popped up in front of their vision. Then, right on the heels of that, the live broadcast ended. At this moment, countless people suddenly pulled off the spectator device and revealed shocked gazes. The championship of Zervais for 79 consecutive years was broken. Moreover, it was broken in the first round? Be it first-level realms, second-level realms, or third-level realms, as long as they could pay attention to the God-sealing battle, they were all shocked. Those who didn't pay much attention to the God-sealing battle were also instantly informed of this news. Even if Zervais obtained first place again, it wouldn't cause such a huge commotion. However, Zervais was defeated by a nobody. This was simply unbelievable. It was completely worthy of today's headlines on World King Planet. In the heavenly demon domain, the fallen angel prince, who was also from Blue Planet like Xiyu, had actually been paying attention to the God-sealing battle. It didn't participate, but it noticed the traces of Xiyu's participation. Initially, it was gloating when it saw 11 facing Zervais. Now that it saw Zervais being crushed by 11 the whole time, for a moment, it couldn't accept this ridiculous situation at all. It couldn't believe that this was a guy who had come to World King Planet from Blue Planet like it. No matter how terrifying this guy's talent was, it actually beat up the current #1 quasi-divine in the universe without the strengthening of a beast tamer? What a joke! It was fine if it was the Blue Planet World Tournament, but why was it also so impressive in the cosmic God-sealing battle? The fallen angel prince, who originally thought that it had improved greatly, revealed a crazy expression. It had never returned to Blue Planet and didn't know that Blue Planet had been wreaked by the worms and then resolved by Xiyu. Otherwise, it would be even crazier now. In the Time Realm, at the headquarters of the Cosmic Crow race. The Cosmic Crow race was a race with very few people. Zervais was the greatest hope of this generation. On the Cosmic Crow race's side, no one from the real Cosmic Crow race paid attention to Zervais' performance in the God-sealing battle at all. They felt that there was no need to pay attention. With Zervais' strength, it wouldn't lose at all. Master, the clansman didn't pay attention, but there was still a servant in charge of recording the battle situation who paid attention. At this moment, this servant ran over to the master in shock, which was the location of the father of Zervais. What happened? You're so panicked. Zervais' father frowned when he saw the servant in such a sorry state. Master, bad news. Young Master Zervais was defeated in the first round of the God-sealing battle. The one who defeated it was a newbie who had just participated in the battle. Its ranking of all races isn't even in the top 100. The head of the Cosmic Crow race was stunned before revealing a disbelieving expression. Bullshit! Shocking news of the God-sealing battle. Zervais, the winner of the 79th consecutive championship, was knocked out in the first battle. In the Central Realm, after 11 came out of the teleportation point covered in injuries, it saw a strange scene. In this battle hall, the staff and contestants who were preparing for battle widened their lantern-sized eyes and gazed at it in shock. Congratulations! Of course, there were also people who congratulated it relatively calmly. Who else could it be but Xiyu? Xiyu smiled in relief. Well done. It was so slow. As expected, it still used a millstone. I thought it would revive twice and you would kill it twice, Buggy said. So convenient. If it were me, I would probably only be able to defeat it by killing it twice. Kai Tong gazed at the fire-patterned black sword in front of it and said emotionlessly, its body filled with death aura. Baby Ginseng felt hostility and felt a chill. That's too violent. Just let its power of time and time mark disappear peacefully, Susu said. As a clean freak, it couldn't bear to see such a bloody battle. The people in this arena were originally just short of kneeling to watch the live broadcast and 11. At this moment, when they heard the conversation coming from all directions, they were directly stunned and felt that their brains weren't enough. Wait a minute, what was going on? Were they stunned by the fight just now? Why did it feel like they couldn't comprehend what was going on in this world? What were these guys talking about just now? Chapter 1459 Reaction of all parties, 1. 1459 Reaction of all parties, 1. After fighting Zhevei, Shiyu and 11 went home. 11 was heavily injured and had consumed a lot of energy. It definitely had to go back with Shiyu to nourish itself. As for the other pets, they continued to wait for the competition. In any case, the opponent wasn't strong, so there was no need for additional attention. They were no longer children and could take care of themselves. Of course, Shiyu and 11 returned, but the commotion after 11's battle didn't stop. Who exactly is 11, who defeated Zhevei? Which realm is it from? What race is it? Why haven't I heard of it before? Around this topic, regardless of level, the various realms joined in the discussion. Zhevei of the Cosmic Crow race, the strongest quasi-divine in 100 years. If the timeline was stretched, there would definitely be a quasi-divine stronger than it. After all, the race ranking of the Cosmic Crow race was only 30th among the myriad races in the starry sky. The quasi-divines born in the top 30 and even the top 10 were definitely even more monstrous. But the problem was that the top races of the cosmic races were all familiar races. There were no such black and white bears. I know it. Even if 11 was unknown previously, with such popularity, there would always be people who had seen it and knew it. The first person to stand out was called Fang Qin. She came from the Blue Wave world and was an ordinary staff member of the Myriad Race Ranking Battle Facility. She was in charge of the registration of the Myriad Race Ranking Battle. Fang Qin said, Its race is the Iron-Eating Beast, a new registered race. It should be 5 years old this year. It came from the floating realm and participated in the ranking battle of all races. I even helped it register its initial information. Soon, her words were pushed to the trending list. It wasn't because this was 11's real information, but because this information was too ridiculous. It was splashed on the trending list of the God Sealing Battle Forum. Bullshit! The second place, Ming Jiyu of the God Sealing Battle, cursed when he saw this rumor. All kinds of bullshit really emerged just to get attention. 5 years old? Why didn't they say 11 came from heaven? Fang Qin quickly deleted this rumor. She felt a sense of regret for being rash. This had already violated the rules and regulations. However, as an employee of the Myriad Races Committee, many nosy people still verified the information she released from the Myriad Races Committee. The president of the Blue Wave Myriad Race Committee found Fang Qin and criticized her fiercely. At the headquarters of the Myriad Races Committee, the Minister of the Resource Management Department of the New Star Race, Di Yin of the Star Race, a cosmic life form with a human body and the head of a planet, was working calmly. At this moment, an assistant rushed in and said, Minister Di Yin, our phone has exploded. There's news on the internet that the first place in the God-Sealing Battle, the Cosmic Crow Zhevei, was defeated by a 5-year-old Iron-Eating Beast race. Moreover, this Iron-Eating Beast race was registered with the Myriad Race Committee. Now, many people are calling the customer service to ask if this race and age are real. Minister Di Yin frowned and said, Why are all the ridiculous rumors looking for us? You have to report this to me? The assistant said, Minister, this might not be a rumor. Zhevei was really defeated in the first round. You'll know when you see the news. Moreover, I just investigated. The one who defeated it was really the 5-year-old Iron-Eating Beast race. We have a record of it. Have you forgotten? A few months ago, a 4-year-old contestant completed a battle above his level. You even named it to participate in the new Star Race support plan, but later on, it didn't continue to participate, so we didn't pay much attention. It's it. It's the one who defeated Zervais, so shouldn't we reply to these calls? Minister Di Yin? Who? Minister Di Yin suddenly got up and was stunned. What did he say? He still didn't believe it and turned to control the computer to verify it. Then, he was stunned. Minister Di Yin opened his mouth wide and said, "What are you dawdling for? Hurry up and go." A race that participated in the new Star Support Plan defeated the Cosmic Crow race. Isn't this a free performance? Although, we haven't supported the other party in anything, don't care about these details. Resources later. Promote it fiercely first. Soon, some information about 11, who had defeated Zervais, spread. Myriad Race Committee official, not long ago, regarding contestant 11 defeating contestant Zervais in the God-sealing battle, a widely regarded rumor appeared on the internet. It was said that contestant 11 had registered for the Myriad Race ranking battle and was only 5 years old. His race is the Iron-Eating Beast race. Here, our Myriad Race Committee solemnly refutes the rumor. This isn't a rumor. The Iron-Eating Beast race that contestant 11 belongs to is a member of the new Star Support Plan of the Myriad Race Committee. It's a target we're concentrated on nurturing. The announcement is true. Phut. At the headquarters of the Cosmic Crow race. After Zervais' father confirmed that Zervais was fine, it had been asking about who this 11 was until the officials of the Myriad Races Committee came out to speak. Apart from a group of nonsense, people could roughly summarize some useful information from it. Name, 11, age, 5 years old, race, Iron-Eating Beast. 5 years old. This guy is F*King 5 years old. Zervais' father had already seen the battle video and seen its son being beaten up and its 79 consecutive championships ended. Now, the Myriad Races Committee was telling it that 11, who had tormented its son who was more than 100 years old, was only 5 years old. Ha ha! What a joke! I don't believe it, I don't believe it. The second place, Ming Ji of the God-sealing battle, was directly shocked when he saw the announcement of refutation again. Like him, there was also a cluster of competitors of the God-sealing battle who were stunned. Chapter 1460 Reaction of all parties, 2. 1460 Reaction of all parties, 2. 5 years old? 5 years old? What a joke! As soon as this information spread, many people's first thought was that they didn't believe it. However, even if someone wanted to question this extremely unscientific information, they had to see where the information came from. This was no longer a personal statement, but the official media of the Starry Sky Myriad Races Committee. It wasn't that there was no chance of rumors spreading on such an official account, but it was minimal. After this information was hung up for a long time and hadn't been taken down, everyone was numb. The reaction here was the strongest in the floating realm, because the rumors also said that 11 came from the floating realm. Was that for real? What right did a monster like them, a mere second-level domain, have to defeat the Cosmic Crows of A? Of course, ordinary realm citizens didn't know, but the Space Emperor could confirm that 11 was indeed from his floating realm. In the face of a group of familiar friends sending a message to confirm, the Space Emperor replied calmly. Dongxian region and Heavenly Demon region. As the headquarters of the Blue Planet Divine race, the 5 Super Divine ancestors usually cultivated in seclusion in the Super Divine Mystic realm. Very few people could contact them and find out where they were. Only on important matters was the clan qualified to disturb them. For example, the most recent awakening of the Kirin race's ancestor was the return of the Wind Kirin inheritance. And today, the super divine ancestors of the 5 divine races received greetings from the top divine patriarchs of the various races at the same time. Ancestor? The genius Shiyu brought his contracted pets from his mother planet to the floating realm. His contracted pet defeated the 79th consecutive champion of the God-sealing battle, the Cosmic Crows of A. With the strength they displayed, they have a chance of completing the champion challenge. If the floating realm obtains a permanent teleportation array, our race will be very passive in terms of the ownership of Blue Planet's resources, the various divine patriarchs said in shock. They didn't expect the genius brought back by the floating realm to be so monstrous. In the various super-divine mystic realms, the super-divine ancestors of the 5 divine races woke up together. Although they didn't have any impression or concept of Zeve, they knew the value of first place in the God-sealing battle. The value of the champion challenge was an honor that was difficult for even the top 100 races in the starry sky to fight for. The genius Wang Kong brought from Blue Planet could actually have such an achievement. Where's the genius we brought back from our mother planet? The super-divine ancestor of the demon race asked the people behind him. The current patriarch of the demon race said bitterly, although his talent is strong, his strength isn't enough to participate in the God-sealing battle. At the moment, he's only in the millionth place. Trash. If he can't enter the top 1,000 next year, don't cultivate him, the demon race forefather said. He walked out of the super-divine mysterious realm and looked in the direction of the floating realm. The super-divine ancestors of the various divine races walked out of the mysterious realm and headed to the floating realm together to discuss the permanent translocation formation with the Space Emperor. The super-divine forefather of the Kirin race was even more silent. That little brat who brought back the Wind Kirin inheritance actually had such terrifying talent potential? Aha, ha ha ha. Before Shiyu arrived home, Lin Feng welcomed Shiyu midway. His smile made his face look like a chrysanthemum. Ha ha? Shiyu? Senior Lin Feng, say something. Ha ha ha. Lin Feng couldn't close his mouth. You guys actually really won. That was the 79th consecutive champion. Doesn't this mean that the first place is stable? A pet defeated Zeve. Zeve can fight that intermediate god. At that time, you can undergo the champion challenge with all the other pets. I feel that it can work. It really works. A permanent translocation array. Lin Feng was overjoyed. If Shiyu could really complete the champion challenge, it wouldn't be long before he could return to Blue Planet. On Blue Planet, there was still his second teen's pet and his family. The feeling of homesickness was heavy for Lin Feng. After Lin Feng disappeared, Blue Planet didn't give up searching for Lin Feng, including his parents and soulmates. Among them, a portion of them firmly believed that Lin Feng was fine, but they were worried that after finding Lin Feng, a long time would have passed. Hence, they entered the cryochamber under the Divine Source's suggestion and sealed themselves to enter a sleeping state. This way, even if Lin Feng returned hundreds of years later, they could still maintain their young lives. Lin Feng felt very apologetic towards these people. Although he had married and had children on World King Planet again, Lin Feng's heart was still on Blue Planet. In comparison, because the Space Emperor was ancient, his longing for his family wasn't that serious. He had too many children. Just his heirs alone were dozens, and he had a harem of 3,000 beauties. He couldn't think of them at all. Moreover, the Space Emperor had left too long ago. Even if he returned, there would basically be no familiar traces. After another totem war, things would probably have changed. What he valued more now was Blue Planet's possibility and the value Blue Planet could bring after upgrading to a high-level planet. These investments were mainly to make his super-divine path smoother. Now, the main goal of the Space Emperor was to achieve a super-divine. Of course, as Dong Huang's former emperor, his sense of affiliation to Dong Huang was also very strong. After all, the Space Emperor, who was born in the Totem era, had been instilled since he was young to expel foreign races and restore Dong Huang's thoughts. Emperor Shi, Emperor Wu, Empress, and Dragon Emperor were all idols unified by the human beast tamers under the ideological education of that era. His previous idea was to turn Dong Huang into a first-rate faction in the entire universe with Lin Feng and the Divine Source legendary on Blue Planet.